Hello everybody, and welcome to another brothercrypt video. Today I wanted to provide a cryptocurrency update and just share a review of my portfolio. I haven't done this for quite a few months, and I felt compelled to do this now given the recent situation with the market. So yeah, please do share this video if you think you'll find it useful, and do leave your comments in the feedback if you have any. Right, before I get into this, I just wanted to provide an update regarding the 300 subscriber giveaway. A few weeks ago, I said that on the 8th of August, I would do a giveaway of $100 to those that followed the instructions in the video. Nobody actually followed the instructions, so on this occasion I won't be giving away the $100. I was a little bit surprised because when I did do a previous giveaway for $100, when I got to the 100 mark, I had quite a lot of people follow the steps and enter, but this time round it really wasn't. And I guess people really want money for free without doing anything, which is why I did have the instructions. So it was just really a giveaway to get participation and then just to give back. But then at the same time, I did want it to help to build up my channel. So I did have some caveats and some points. So yes, unfortunately, I'm not going to be, giving away any cryptocurrency because the steps weren't followed for this 300 subscriber special. But without further ado, let's look at the markets. The time here in the UK is Wednesday, the 15th of August, almost in the middle of the month, and the time is 4 o'clock. We can see that we have a market capital of 205 billion, which has decreased since my last video. However, I did look at this yesterday, and the market cap did drop below 190 billion. What's interesting is that BTC dominance is the strongest that it's been for almost a year, if not more, at 53.5%. And we have 1,845 cryptocurrencies listed on CoinMarketCap, and yeah, that's really growing. So we can see that by looking at the market that everything is in green. Some coins are even in a 10-digit green. So we have the Bitcoin price at $6,400, and then we have Ethereum based at $286. We can see that EOS is really on sale at $4.64, and we also have like Cardano at less than 9 cents. We have Monero selling for $90 as well. So another thing that I wanted to do in this video was just quickly go over the biggest gainers and losers. There's nothing in particular that I wanted to show you, but really just to have a look and just to record this. We can see that one of the coins that I was interested in but haven't really got into a position is Nano. Nano has increased by about 30%, and it's priced at $1.14. So Nano's definitely on my radar, but I haven't got into a position yet. And looking at the biggest losers, we can see that this Plan coin has lost 37% in less than 24 hours. That's really huge. It appears that there aren't any other coins that I have positions in apart from Bakkt. Bakkt has lost its value by about 4.79%. Okay, So that's really all I wanted to look at in terms of, you know, the biggest losers and gainers. Whilst we're here on CoinMarketCap, I also wanted to look at, you know, what's recently been added. So I think Taleo is on my map. I believe this is a marketing application. We can also see that Farmer Trust has now been added as well. I did hear much about Farmer Trust, but I didn't invest. And Vite, it looks like this has been added as well. I believe Vite is a blockchain. Oh, excuse me. No, I'm thinking of Vite. Vite, I'm really not familiar with. And we have Airblock, which has been added. And in the last day, it sort of increased by 0.06%. And I'm also familiar with Hycon. Hycon is sort of a copy to Icon, also coming out of Korea. However, I think this is backed by, you know, somebody, an Englishman, somebody who's from the UK, but is developing the application with a Korean team. I did look into this, but I also didn't, you know, pull the trigger. And then also we have the Exchange token. That's very good. That was added about 5 days ago, and that's increased by about 12.5%. I could keep going, but really I think all of the cryptocurrencies that have got my attention have already been mentioned. So without further ado, let us now look at my portfolio holdings. So I've created this, you know, this presentation just to show a lot of the cryptocurrencies that I've been invested in over the last, it's a long time now, for about 5 years. Some of these cryptos are new and many of them are old. So I'll just quickly give you a summary of my positions and how long I've been in it. Bitcoin, I've been in this since about 2013, maybe 2014. Bitcoin held the majority of my holdings. Probably at least about 75% of my portfolio is Bitcoin. And I'm really glad that I took the conscious view to have the majority of my holdings in Bitcoin rather than altcoins. The next one is Krypton X. Now, this Krypton X, I believe it is called Krypton X. I actually received this in an airdrop. It just came into my wallet, but it seems to have a good price. However, I did check this Krypton X price, and then I was told that it's basically exchange tokens. You know, for you to use the exchange, you do have to use it with other altcoins or Bitcoin, and then they sort of increase, you know, the amount that you've invested. So it's not completely free. I can't just exchange it easily for Bitcoin. So I haven't really looked at it, and I've just held it. Now, arbitrage. Arbitrage, I've been in this for probably about 2 or 3 months now. Please do look out for my 37 or 38 days in arbitraging video. That will be released very soon. However, just to give you the heads up, recently I did increase my position in arbitraging, and I have bought some of the tokens, but I'll get into that in more detail later on. Now, Bitcoin Cash, this has really taken a bit of a beating recently in terms of it's lost its, you know, value in proportion to Bitcoin. So usually when Bitcoin used to take a turn, you found that maybe Bitcoin Cash might have dropped about 10% or 5%. But recently, in this last sort of market decline, Bitcoin Cash has lost quite a lot of its value, actually. Now, the next coin that I've also invested in is called Zcash. This Zcash, I've had this position for quite some time, at least a few years. I believe Zcash is something I got into around about 2016 or maybe 2015. Litecoin, same thing for pretty much Zcash. This was a form of my diversification, and basically I'm still holding my position. Monero, I believe that this is one of my favorite privacy coins, and I've still pretty much got a position in Monero from which I had a few years ago. The same can also be said for BitShares. I've been in BitShares since at least last year, or probably going back slightly longer. Now, another cryptocurrency that's I had in my portfolio is Neo. I would have to admit I have taken a beating on Neo very much. I think I got into Neo about last year and probably paid around about $100 per coin. Currently now, at the time of recording, the value of Neo sits at around $16 and 43 cents. EOS, I bought last year. I got into the position during its ICO. I believe most of my acquisitions came in at just under or slightly over $5. Currently, at the time of recording this, the price of EOS is based at $4.67. I have probably in a position where I'm breaking even or I've made a slight loss. Now with OmiseGo, this is a position I'm still holding, and I'm actually down on my gains for this. Dash I bought quite a long time ago. I got into a position in Dash shortly after Bitcoin. So I bought, Dash when it was around about, $5 a coin. And I believe it was called something else, privacy or stealth coin, something like that. Please don't mark my words. But I got into Dash before it was rebranded as Dash. And yeah, fortunately, I'm still up on Dash. Ethereum's taken a beating recently. I buy Ethereum to get into other coins. I don't necessarily just buy to hodl. I think some of the Ethereum I bought that I've held was from last year, and I believe that I am in a slight deficit with Ethereum as well. Now, this is EOS DAC. What I like about EOS DAC was that this was given to me in an airdrop, so I just had to receive the funds, the tokens in my wallet, and I haven't had to pay a penny. So I am currently up with EOS DAC. All right, now let's move on. As mentioned earlier, here are some of the ICOs that I've invested in, especially in this year, in the last 12 months, apart from 10x. I did get into WaBi recently, sometime in 2018. I think it was at the beginning of 2018. And based on my initial investment, I am down. Basically, on the majority of all of these tokens, I'm down. Many of them, apart from Ontology, I got, excuse me, so the majority of what you see, these tokens, I got into their ICO, and even though I did get into the ICO, I'm down either because the project wasn't very good and the market hasn't been very good. So a mixture of those things, either way, no matter which way you slice it or dice it, I'm down. And on some of these coins, I've lost almost 90% in value, which is, it's not very good, but, this is the market that we're in. And I've really taken the ethos that no matter how much I'm down, I've invested money I can afford to lose. So with that, I would prefer to hold these tokens unless I see, alarming reason for me to sell them. Perhaps the CEO's dead or the team is, disintegrating. But as long as these people are working diligently towards their projects, I might as well keep the token, because I only really lose when I actually realize the sale. So yes, Parkgene, Coinvest, I believe this is Atomy, Steemit. Steemit I've held for a while. This was bought on the exchange, and I think compared to the exchange price I paid, I'm down. Tradav, same thing. ICOs with all of the initial three on this page, and I'm down. Quirk Chain, I'm down. High Performance Blockchain, this was bought off the exchange, and I'm down. Lending Block, I got into the ICO and I'm down. Ontology, I bought off the exchange and I'm down. Populous, bought off the exchange and I'm down. So yeah, everything on this page I'm down. And P-Chain, I am really sick of these people. I deem P-Chain more or less as a scam, and I really can't wait to sell my position. But I am going to sell my position, when I'm up. But P-Chain, I classify these guys as a scam. If you'd like to know more, just do a Google search for brothercrypt P-Chain, and you'll find out, why I believe P-Chain is a scam. Now, two other cryptocurrencies that I've got into, which weren't mentioned, is also Cardano and TAS, token as a service. Both of these two I'm also down on. I believe I bought Cardano when in the bull market last year at about 70 cents. As we looked earlier, it's now priced at 9 cents. So yeah, I'm down 80%. The majority of my holdings I'm down on, apart from cryptocurrencies that I've bought years ago, such as Bitcoin, such as Dash, or what was previously called Dash. All of the old cryptos I'm still up from the time I bought them, but then the majority of other cryptocurrencies, all of the new kids on the block that I've got in the exchange off the last year, I'm more or less down. So the reason that I've created this video, guys, is just to really share my opinion and really to share my strategy. I believe that everybody's going to be down, especially if you've bought crypto in the last 12 months. You'll be potentially down. However, the long thing is just to hold in there with longevity, because tokens like Dash, Bitcoin, I've held them for at least 3 to 4 years, if not more, and they have risen exponentially, whereas a couple of zeros have been brought to it. So I bought Bitcoin, I think when I started buying Bitcoin, it was around £300 even per Bitcoin. So the majority of my portfolio is Bitcoin that came from then, and now we can add another row, and now we can sort of double it. So my Bitcoin value, my Bitcoin holdings have increased exponentially. Investments of hundreds of pounds per coin has now turned into having a value of almost like £5,000 a coin. So I just really wanted to reinforce the point that you only really lose when you sell or when you trade. So just to back up my speak and what I'm doing, I sent some money to an exchange a few days ago, and I've just been buying Bitcoin. And then another position I took were in more arbitraging tokens, because arbitraging is a cash flowing strategy. Although the token is down, using things like the arbitraging software that they provide, I'm able to generate tokens every day from just having my tokens locked up in their system. So I find that useful, because when the market does turn, and then at that point I'll be able to take profits at the right price. So guys, that's really my portfolio update for now. Let's move on. a couple of things that I wanted to mention, which I found, really helpful, was I came across this interview by a chap called Thomas Lee. Thomas Lee keeps popping up on CNBC, and basically he's a co-founder at Fundstrat Global. Now, Tommy Lee has a very good sort of sensible head. He comes from the world of finance, similar to my background, but he's worked, in more of a finance investor desk type position, meeting clients who want to invest, and sort of guiding them with their investments. Me, I wasn't necessarily client facing. I was working more within the IT department of a lot of investment banks and other financial institutions. So my market knowledge is sort of limited, but then offset against, understanding about technology and being a coder and being able to do analysis and read requirements and interpret those requirements and so forth. But anyway, one of the things that I heard Tommy Lee say in his recent interview, that he shares in their research, is that, cryptocurrency is an immature market, because basically investors in cryptocurrency consist of retail and professional investors. Only those two types of, categorization. And however, we have experienced family trading teams or desks, and we have, hedge fund managers who invest for their institution in cryptocurrency, but then they also invest in cryptocurrency personally as well. So, therefore, if you're not an institution, basically, no matter who you are or no matter what you know, you are deemed as a retail investor. And Lee goes on to point out the difference between institutional and retail investors. And what he pointed out sort of aligned with my sentiments. And basically, he was saying that in an immature market, when the price goes down, demand for that commodity, for that asset, usually goes up. But what he's observed is that in crypto, it works differently. When the price goes down, demand in crypto also goes down. And then because of that, the asset price goes down. So it's almost like we have a knockoff chain effect. Basically, what Thomas Lee is saying, that retail investors in crypto, when they realize that the market is reducing in price, they're quick to sell all of their crypto, and this is, this is very stupid. This is why I think people should only really invest in what they can afford to lose, and probably have a long-term perspective for crypto. Yep, I know people like Ian Bellina, say that they blew up in about 6 months, and they turned 100 grand into 4 million. Unfortunately, not everybody's Ian Bellina, and I like Ian Bellina. I've met Ian Bellina. I've had conversations with him multiple times. However, I don't think his strategy in ICO investing can be working in this bear market. So if I'm wrong and you're watching this video, then please do let me know. But based on, my involvement, my investment, what I've gotten into over the last 6 to 8 months, purely looking at ICOs, I really would not risk any ICO. I don't care what they're doing, as long as it has bells and whistles. In fact, it will probably be cheaper for me to buy their token on the exchange. So I'm really not looking into getting into ICOs or any new positions. And what I'm saying is that I have tried, that perspective, purely looking into ICOs, getting in quickly. However, I think it's become purely saturated. And then you now have a lot of shit coins like P-Chain taking advantage of investors. and not giving them any value, and basically not, not giving a fuck. So because you have so much money grabs and people are grabbing money, and then when they get their money, then they're selling the tokens, things are currently at a loss right now. And I'm sure even some of the great ICO investors are taking a loss in their portfolios. I know that they are, but it's really not just about following any one model, especially having a short-term view. I think one needs to have a long-term view when investing in cryptocurrency. Another thing that I wanted to point out before I go is basically, yes, many of you would have heard that a company called Bakkt announced that they are going to be processing cryptocurrency transactions for companies like Microsoft and for StarBucks. StarBucks have said they will not be able to pay for frappuccinos with Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrencies. So this was a real shame, because now, the head of Coinbase, or one of the CEOs, is saying that it's going to take, a lot of time for currency adoption to take place. So yeah, guys, the way that we should be looking at this is that we're trying to find the next Facebook. And if you're invested in Facebook early, you really didn't get much value from flipping Facebook in 6 months or a year. You might have been profitable, but you didn't get value. The people who seem to have got values were those that held on for almost at least 10 years, who got into Facebook before it had its IPO, and who have sold their shares in Facebook recently. Like I heard one guy, he invested half a million, and now his return got him something like 200 or 300 million. Those are the type of investments that we potentially could have with cryptocurrency. But I think it's about finding the best project, getting in at the right time, really not rushing, and being prepared to stay in your position for at least a year or two, or maybe longer. So yeah, that's all of the update that I had for you. I hope you found this helpful. If it was helpful, please do share it, please do like it, and yeah, please leave your comments in the comments box. Until the next video, it's BrotherCrypt signing out. Take care. Peace.